Hi, Chris Broussard, CB. But Marcellus, I'm coming to you first. Should the Bucks be worried that Giannis, he ain't a closer?
Yeah, it's unfortunate, too, because this is a guy who's going to be walking the planet. Only two other guys has done what he's about to do, which is win Defensive Player of the Year and MVP in the same season. But still, as I learned in the NFL, everyone has a scouting report. And no matter who you are and how great you are, there's a positive side of that sheet and a negative side of that sheet. I saw the one on Peyton Manning, and it blew my mind that they can even list that many things against Peyton Manning. And the list is starting to grow on Giannis. I think the aura of invincibility was broken last year, just being real. It just seems like when this team lost to the eventual champions in Kawhi Leonard and the Toronto Raptors, but they were up 2-0. And then you have the MVP up 2-0. And you can't even push that to a game 7. Think about that. Basically get swept out from being up 2-0. And that was the first time people said, oh, wait a minute. Kind of like a Mike Tyson and Buster Douglas moment where people are now not kept at bay. They're kind of stepping to you with a little more confidence. And we're seeing it right now. We saw it with Orlando, game 1. Orlando like, we ain't scared of y'all. And then they got beat up. But now we're seeing Miami, who is more loaded than Orlando, saying we're not scared of you either. And I think it's all really just shots at Giannis saying, hey, we love your game. We know you're expanding your game and growing your game, but we still smell blood in the water. I think that it is time to start fearing that he may not be the closer.
Marcellus, this one pains me, my brother, because Giannis, though we call him the Greek freak, he's really my Nigerian brother.
Say it.
See, but Giannis, he's not a closer. I first, CB, I got my suspicions August 2nd. The Bucks were playing the Rockets. I'm sitting at home and I'm watching the game. The Bucks, they're down by 1. Giannis, you just got to make a play. What are you doing? Turns it over. So then my eyebrow was raised, CB. But now this past game, 111-104, you have to make a play, MVP. You have to. And it looks like you're a fish out of water trying to be the primary ball handler, trying to create your own shot. I'm not just going to judge off last night and have some sort of recency biases to saying Giannis isn't a closer. But when you look at last year, like what Marcellus said, then you look at this year, and not just last night, but going back into early August when, again, the Bucks needed him to deliver, he's making some plays that aren't MVP-esque. He's doing some things consistently that aren't MVP-esque. And I know what you might say, Acho, you just showed me 2 plays. But remember, the game was 104-98. Giannis is at the stripe. He's shooting throws, but throws is preceded by the word free. He's shooting free throws, and he goes 0 for 2. So now it's 104-98. Bucks go down and score again, and now the game is essentially out of reach. So had Giannis hit them 2 free throws, all of a sudden it would have been a 1-possession game at 106-103, completely different ball game with a minute and change left. So although it hurts me to say, Giannis, he's not a closer right now at this stage in his career.
Yeah, look, the Bucks aren't worried that he's not a closer. They know he's not a closer. I mean, the fact is this team doesn't have many close games. They had the fewest number of close games of any teams in the playoffs. That's 3 points or less. They only had 5. Several teams, the Lakers, the Clippers, had twice the amount. But in the few close games they had, if you watch them, they don't go to Giannis down the stretch. It's not because he doesn't have the heart. Some guys aren't closers because they just get scared. They don't have the heart. That's not Giannis's problem. Giannis doesn't have a go-to move. Giannis doesn't have a consistent mid-range jumper, and we know he's a relatively poor three-point shooter. So once a team walls off the lane and closes down those straight line drives, look at that. He's got nothing to go to. And that's the problem. So what the Bucks do at the end of games is they go to ball movement. And whoever gets the open shot takes it. It could be Kyle Korver. It could be Burke Lopez.
Let me ask you this, CB.
It could be Chris Middleton.
Let me ask you this then. Let's get back to the question at hand. Should the Bucks be worried he's not a closer? Remember, and you know far better than I, in the playoffs, it's not going to be these blowouts that the Bucks are used to playing in. It's going to be a lot more tight games where sooner or later, like we saw Chris Paul last night, 98-92, hits a tray, 98-95, hits a tray, tied ball game. Sooner or later, you need a guy over you need ball movement. Should the Bucks therefore be worried that their best player about to win MVP isn't a closer?
Yes, because most teams have that superstar you can just give the ball to. Okay, the defense knows your plays. They know what you like to do, your moves, but they still can't stop you. Kawhi Leonard, Chris Paul, Damian Lillard, guys like that. James Harden. They can't do that. What they're going to have to do is find ways to get Giannis the ball. I don't think at the end of games, they need to have him bringing the ball up court and just trying to drive into a wall, which you saw some of these highlights. They're going to have to get him moving, set some screens for him where he can be moving, flashing into the lane or across the lane or toward a block and get it there. Maybe get it at the elbow and then make a quick move and try to score in the paint. Because otherwise, they are in trouble. Now, I still got them in 7 winning this series, but an upset is very, very possible because they don't have a close. Last thing I'll say, a Hall of Fame player who's very active in the league now told me, believe it or not, last week, he said, I think Giannis is a number 2 guy because he doesn't have that go-to move. Sounds crazy, but Anthony Davis is in that boat. I think Scottie Pippen was in that boat. You need a go. That's why Kawhi is such a great closer, because he can get to that mid-range at several spots on the floor and get a shot anytime he wants. Giannis,